Yes, you. Press the subscribe button. Press the subscribe button. Yes, you. Press the subscribe button. Press the subscribe button. Yes, you. Press the subscribe button. Press the subscribe button. Yes, you. Press the subscribe button. Press the subscribe button. Yes, you. Press the subscribe button. Press the subscribe button. Yes, you. Press the subscribe button. Press the subscribe button. Yes, you. Press the subscribe button. Press the subscribe button.
Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Unpopular Opinion. I am your host, Sharon Burns. Yes, in today's video, we are going to do the runaround. It's Friday, so we got the runaround for you. And without further ado, we're going to bring up our super producer. Super producer, are you with me?
Good morning. And listen, happy Friday.
Happy
those
Friday.
Are the people that was out with me. Those are the people that was out with me last night. Woo, yeah.
They were like, wow.
Yeah, those are the people that was out with me. They bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, and me, I'm like, good morning to you guys. Let's start saying good morning. Listen, Foxy, Roxy.
Bim, 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 bim. Foxy, Roxy lining up in the membership. Bim, bim, bim.
Yes, listen.
New
We're
member.
try to bring you some great things behind the scenes, and otherwise, maybe we'll start doing some pre-shows with the members. Listen, Jim C, good morning to you. Thank you for always tapping in. Toy Mafia, what it do?
Toy Mafia, Jim C.
Justin Thompson. Come on, Justin Thompson. This is my personal troll here. I picked him up from your show, and I haven't been able to put him down.
Justin Thompson in the building.
And he follows me everywhere. Okay, when I say follow me on this and follow me on that, let me tell you, he's right there. I love that.
Right there.
Thank you, Justin, for everything that you do, even behind the scenes. I'm so grateful and appreciative. And you mod on 1 million channels.
Yeah.
And you are great at it.
You sure are.
Thank you so much.
We appreciate you.
Well, we're going to get into it because I've been given another mandate today. This ain't my fault.
Mandate? Was this a Trump mandate? No,
it was. It was from you. So it actually was. It was from you.
Woo, woo, woo.
Let's get into it. Lord, this is every Friday. I don't know what the runaround does to you, but I'm not sure what the runaround does to you. But yeah, whatever it does, it's not that good.
Put it on the big screen.
Yeah, let's get started because I need to get away from you this morning. All right, listen, the first story, and Sharon don't know none of these stories because she didn't help.
I did not participate in
she did. She didn't do her homework.
Views is no longer.
She didn't do. Wait a minute. First of all, let me tell the people, she didn't do her homework and then ask because she cheat off my paper. No,
it's getting hot in here.
Okay.
All the shadiness.
No. But anywho, here we go. We have a show. Thanks to super producer.
Don't you like to see my reaction?
Nah. We already know what we gonna get. Okay. Anyway, get to it. This first story was kind of alarming to me. And this story kind of
she just look crazy. I know she's a crazy lady just by those eyes.
No, she's not. It's not.
Okay.
This story lines up with the United Healthcare story. Okay. About the guy Luigi Mangione who unalived the CEO. Mm-hmm. And how he was talking about these healthcare companies are not right. They're not fair. They're not right. Some of the things we do know is that Luigi was suffering from back pain and since he was a kid, and like his family maybe couldn't find a solution for him, the doctors, and then his medical bills became outrageous.
Mhm.
And, the healthcare company started charging his family like outrageous amounts of money for his care. And then reports came out about United Healthcare and them overcharging cancer patients. I don't know if you all have seen that, but that came out, like millions of dollars. So this surgeon, this is a surgeon, and this is what surgeons look like when they're in surgery. So they don't come to work looking like they do on the right. They come to work looking like they do on the left.
Right.
And so this is a surgeon that said she shares a story about an insurance provider that calls her during the patient's surgery.
Oh my God. What? Saying stop doing the
Today,
surgery?
yes, is October 1st, and it's the beginning of Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And there's conflicting news in the fight against breast cancer. There's a new study by the American Cancer Society
hope
that
this is
finds
the
the risk
story.
for women under 50 is rising, especially among younger women. But the good news is deaths are dropping, so early detection is key. Dr. Mark Siegel, senior medical analyst, is with us now. So the good news is that we can detect it better, and why is that?
Well, we could detect it better
Let me
because
just
we're
go to
looking
this.
earlier. There's more of a consensus that we should be starting at 40. We're doing more genetic analysis than ever before.
Child, we don't want to see this. I want to see the
And one
story
more
about the
thing, our head
surgeon.
of breast radiology at NYU.
Okay, now I'm gonna go to the
Dr. Siegel, thank you.
Exactly.
I'm gonna go to the article. Show you
Okay.
guys the article. All right, so here's the article. Hope you guys can see it. So it says a surgeon in Austin, Texas was in the middle of a surgery when she was notified of a phone call from the patient's insurance provider. Dr. Elizabeth Potter is a board certified plastic surgeon who specializes in reconstruction for women who had breast cancer. Okay, and so that's why they had that story. Last year alone, she did about 520 surgeries, good Lord, for cancer patients. She recently shared a video of herself talking about the experience. I just performed 2 bilateral dips, they call them dips, flap surgery, and 2 bilateral tissue expander surgeries, she said in the now viral video. If I had known that wasn't the video, I would have got it. In the dip flap surgery reconstruction, skin, fat, and blood vessels from the patient's abdominal area are used to rebuild the breast. Doctor, during one of the dip cases, while the patient was asleep on an operating table, the doctor was interrupted by a nurse supervisor informing her that a call had come in from United Healthcare, the patient's insurance company, Potter said. The nurse who took the call said Potter was in surgery and not available. And they said, I need to get her a message because we need to talk to her about this patient. Potter told Fox News Digital, so they wrote a note and brought it into the operating room, and I took a picture of it because I'm like, I can't believe this is happening. So this must be the note. Let me see if we can see it.
Yeah.
You can't even see the note. Maybe they didn't know you couldn't see the note. All right, let's see. The note indicated the name and number of the person to call at United Healthcare along with the patient's name and Dr. Potter's name. The note did not state that the caller had requested an immediate response. The nurse at the front desk of the OR who took the call and wrote this note said that the person on the phone first asked for the patient. What? And then for me.
At the surgery?
Okay, this is crazy. He was told I was scrubbed in to the OR, and he asked the nurse that I be contacted in the OR and given the message. Added Potter, the nurse manager said she never in her career received a call like that before. She thought it must be important and brought the message to the OR. It was odd, Potter said, that the insurance company had called the front desk of the hospital where she is not an employee. They didn't call my office. They didn't call my cell phone. They didn't send an email. This wasn't the billing department of the hospital. Afraid that the insurance company might deny the patient's service, Potter made a decision to scrub out mid-surgery. Oh my God. To return the call to United. This is amazing. The surgeon stated to Fox News Digital that United Healthcare did not require her to leave the operating room or threaten to deny coverage. The patient was safe with another surgeon and the anesthesia team who was finishing up the procedure. Potter was scared that the patient would wake up and find out that the insurance company said they didn't have the information they needed and would deny the claim, she said. I've seen it before when people get stuck with bills that are $80,000 or $100,000. She said to Fox News Digital. And so I said to my partners, I'm going to make this call real quick. Oh, we can see her video. Why they put it? Oh, man. Hold on.
They put it way down there.
Child, they put it way down at the end of the. That's crazy. I want to see her say this stuff. Who else want to see her? I want to see her say this stuff, but I gotta hold on. I gotta open it in a different window. Cause
How did they know that she was operating at that particular hospital? I guess because of
no,
she probably had to have prior approval. And
yeah, when you
maybe
do the pre-authorization, she's gonna send in her doctors have credentials that come with numbers. And so the number takes them to the hospital that she has credentials for. And so that's how. But it pops up. Everything is populated in the healthcare, in the, insurance system.
Yeah,
The
but
surgery's
like,
going to be at this day, at this time, at this hospital, by this doctor. That's how it goes.
well, I understand that, but okay.
No, what's the question?
No, it's not no question. I don't understand why would they actually call the hospital and actually get to
When I
her?
work for anesthesia doctors, like all kinds of things used to happen and be weird. I'm interested to know once she got on the call, right? What did the insurance company want? Because even if they deny the claim while she's in
And then
surgery,
why
right?
would the doctor have that information? Why wouldn't they call the doctor's office?
For me, this was not even a conversation with the doctor. This was a conversation with the patient. So unless you're
Exactly.
calling the doctor to say you're not going to pay the doctor for their services, that still should have been a call to the doctor's office. You see what I'm saying? That's why. And then you just take care of all these issues on the back end because this happens every day, whether you know it or not. Every hour there's a surgery, and every hour there's an insurance company that makes a last minute decision. Some person comes in and it's like,
oh, we ain't paying that.
Yeah. Or there'll be like a technicality or, oh, this little paper was missed or something. Hold on. I'm going to see if I can. Because I have to share a different window. Can y'all see it?
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay. Let me see if I can turn on the volume.
But during the second deep, I got a phone call into the operating room saying that United Healthcare wanted me to call them about one of the patients who was having surgery today, who was actually asleep having surgery, and said I had to call right now. So I scrubbed out of my case and I called United Healthcare, and the gentleman said he needed some information about her, want to know her diagnosis and whether her inpatient stay should be justified. And I was like, do you understand that she's asleep right now and she has breast cancer? And the gentleman said, actually, I don't. That's a different department that would know that information. And I was like, well, she does need to stay overnight tonight. And you have all the information with you because I got approval for this surgery. And I need to go back and be with my patient now. But yeah, it's out of control. Insurance is out of control. I have no other words. It's 2025 and insurance just keeps getting worse. I just did 2 bilateral deeps.
And that is what, Luigi was saying. This is crazy.
Well,
You
then we
know,
can't just blame the insurance company. We got to blame the cost is getting out of control.
listen,
The
it's still
price
the
is getting
insurance
out of
company because I just
control.
told you that the article, I don't know what news outlet it was,
Mhm.
said that United Healthcare was overcharging cancer patients. But for this man to say, the diagnosis is cancer, but for him to say that's not my department, that don't need to be your department for you to look at the screen and read the screen and it say diagnosis DX cancer, breast cancer, right? And
Right.
so she's like, and it tells you what type of surgery she's doing. A total
Well, no,
chest
I think
reconstruction.
I think it's two problems though. I think of course it's the insurance company, like they overcharging their patients. Probably their premiums is high if you have a certain diagnosis. I understand that that's outrageous, and then they're denying claims. But let's look at the start of it. Okay, does it really cost $80,000 to stay overnight?
I, I mean, you have to think about everything if you get an itemized statement, right, of everything, they charge you for every little thing. So they're going to charge you for the bed that you're in. If you get a private room, that's a charge. I don't know who sets those rates. The hospital probably sets their own rates for the rooms. And then the supplies, the medication. You
Yeah,
got
but
the
it's all
team of
overpriced.
nurses.
That's what I'm getting at.
I
That's
don't
all
know.
overpriced.
Certain things I feel like could be overpriced, but certain things are umbrellaed under your diagnosis. So if you have breast cancer, right, automatic you get reconstruction if you want it,
Well,
right?
that's if they remove your breasts,
Yeah,
that's,
some
if they
people don't want the reconstruction surgery and they're okay with buying the padded bras and they just don't want anything else foreign in their body. And so they don't take the reconstruction surgery. They just take whatever, it looks like. But that is something that the insurance is supposed to automatically cover when someone has breast cancer. So for him to even be calling and asking, do she need to stay overnight?
that's some crazy work
Eh,
right there.
yeah.
That's crazy work.
I mean, everything is overpriced. Now let's I'll give you that. But it what type of difference did it make? This lady's already on the table asleep. That's what she's saying. Like the time of the surgery was all of the information was in there. That's why she told him, you have the information because when I got approval for this surgery, we have to turn in that information. Everything is on a sheet.
Right.
Everything. Good
Right.
morning, Carrington. Good morning, D. Bree. Keeping it real with Dom K. What's up? Kathy Fields. Kathy Fields, thank you for tapping in. Let's see. Did I miss anybody? Let's see. Let's see what these comments are saying because I see a lot of people. Okay. Carrington said he ain't gonna be surprised at this point. Keeping it real says pre-approval. You always have to get pre-approval with any type of surgery. Um,
Well,
you
it all
know,
depends on what type of insurance you have.
well, I would say no, with most of these surgeries, these
Mhm.
insurance are asking for you to get pre-approvals because they're doing things like that man asking like that once they see the surgery, then they're coming back asking you, do
For
this
more
person need to
information.
stay in the hospital for 3 days? Can they just stay in the hospital for 2 days? Like when my mom got her kidney surgery,
They was
this
trying to kick her out.
girl, this blew me. This blew me. Do you hear me? My mom got a whole kidney. So my mom's in the hospital. I think it was like day 3. They were like, yeah, you gotta go home. My mom was not even doing well. She wasn't feeling well, none of those things. I was like,
What? Not to get in your business, was she at a pretty reputable hospital, or
she
was
was at
she at one?
Loyola.
Oh, yeah, Loyola is kind of sketchy though.
She
They
was
got
at
bad.
Loyola.
Yeah.
And for me, Loyola and Northwestern are the two biggest hospitals out here.
Yeah.
But to me, I feel like it is more so to do with the insurance companies calling and asking these things.
Yeah, and if
Because my
you're,
mom, we
yeah.
ended up pressing and saying, you don't even have, like I told him, you don't have my mom stable enough to come home. What these labs looking like? So if people don't have somebody to advocate for them that's not in the surgery, like my mom, what if my mom didn't have nobody, and she had to advocate for herself? They would have put her out, right?
Yeah, yeah, you're
You
right.
you see what I'm saying? If it wasn't for me and my brother being physically there saying, and me, the medical one, I'm saying, you don't even have these labs. The nurse just came in here and said that these labs are off still. So make it make sense to me. Person's supposed to be released from the hospital when they're stable. Right now, my mom 2 days out of a kidney transplant, and her blood work not even stable, and you're talking about she going home on Friday. Okay,
That's crazy.
not today. I don't know who else you sending home, but it won't be her. And it
Mhm.
ended up not happening. She ended up staying until that Monday. But guess what? Guess how much the bill was for this?
It probably was like what, 200,000?
$483,565.
How many days she stayed?
My mom was in the hospital 7 days.
Okay, yeah,
7
yeah,
days.
I could see that.
For me, I ain't gonna say I can't see it, but you asking for almost $500,000 from a senior?
Well, they not asking it from the senior. They asking it from
That was
her
my mom's
insurance company.
portion. No, that was my mom's portion.
That was your mom's portion. What
That was my mom's portion. Bill. That was my mom's portion. So
was
the
your mom like?
surgery
Oh,
in
you can
total,
have this kidney.
the surgery in total probably equaled up
With like $1
to
million,
eight hundred
right?
thousand. Yeah, somewhere in that range, which is outrageous. So I totally see. I ain't gonna say Luigi was right, but I see what he's talking about. That's why I told you. I said he's gonna end up being a martyr because these insurance companies out here are out of order.
But like I said, you got to get to the root of the problem. The insurance wouldn't be trying to not pay claims if the freaking bills wasn't outrageous.
Have you never have you never worked at an insurance company or worked with insurance companies? I could tell because
I used to be
they,
a clinical supervisor at University Health Center. I did that for 8 years. Yeah,
their
I kn-
first their first thing is to deny. They want the insurance agents, the people that work there, to find a
but
way not to pay the claim. That's their job. That's what they
well,
do.
I understand. That's the first thing. I had to sue my insurance company because they didn't, and the judge made them pay it. But what I'm getting at is the insurance. Yes, that's part of the problem, but we need to get to the real problem. Why is it $80,000 or $100,000 a day to stay at the hospital?
That goes
Why do
back.
you charge me if you give me a pill? And I was looking at my bill because I had to go to the emergency a couple of years ago. They charged me $10,000 for that emergency visit.
Everything
10.
associated
I didn't even stay overnight. They charged
everything
me
associ-
$10,000.
everything associated with healthcare is a problem. The whole thing needs to be overhauled.
Overhauled, yeah.
The whole thing.
Because how does Canadians afford their health care? And they don't even charge, every resident in Canada has free health care. How are they able to
I just want to know
get
how they
on
can
that
get it.
system? And
I asked this
we're
question
you
when we
know
talked about Luigi. I asked that question. Also, over in Europe. they're able to provide the same thing.
The same things. Now, as reconstruction surgery, I know that's a specialty surgery. You know, it's probably they probably make a high dollar because they specialize in that field. I could see that, but just the overall healthcare system is a whole what do you call it?
It's a racket.
A racket.
Tyrone Price, good morning.
Tyrone Price in
Wyoming
the building.
gal. What's up, Wyoming gal?
Wyoming gal.
But yeah, for me, yeah, that was outrageous. Not that I haven't, when I worked for anesthesia doctors, we used to get all types of calls while the person was in surgery, and we would be like,
it's too late now. You should handle that 3
we'll
days
be
ago.
like, first of all, their anesthesia has already been administered, and take it up.
Look,
with them
does she
after they
need that
go
much
home.
anesthesia? Yes, she does.
This is getting weird. It's getting strange, and I'm just like, this has to stop.
I remember
Tyrone Price said he had an MRI 2 years ago, and it was $21,000.
That's 21. That is 21,000. You was like, what is that? 21,000.
Girl, my glasses don't work
said
that early.
21,000. That's ridiculous.
Undisputed. Good morning. Let's see. Memorial said charge me checking out my bum knee 6 months ago. Like, are you kidding me? And I didn't even stay overnight there. What did you buy? The machine? Okay. Okay. Undisputed. No.
You buying
we
machines
actually didn't.
now for
Matter of fact,
21,000.
I feel like we could have bought that building. What I actually wanted to say was evict all these people out of my building.
Because I own this. This is my plot of land.
Because if you get this amount of money from a 72-year-old, that building belongs to my family.
That's crazy.
Okay, 3 times. Okay, but anyway, that happened. That to me, for me, I feel like that is what desensitizes healthcare providers. But for me, she seemed like a great doctor. And I feel like if they would have told her, "Oh, we're not gonna pay for your services," I feel like she would have said, "Fine."
Yeah, she would have did it anyway.
Fine.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll take it up with you later. I'll sue you later. But we're not finna stop this surgery. Okay, goodbye.
Yeah.
I feel like that would have been her. You have lots of. Let me just preface this by saying you have lots of doctors out there who are willing to donate their services, even when these insurance companies start acting a fool. Right?
Yeah.
So what they'll do, some of them, is they'll say, okay, do whatever you got to do. And then guess what they do? Turn it over to their lawyer and be like, go get my money because these people crazy.
Yeah.
And so, to me, I think, the whole, if Donald Trump can do anything for me, he can overhaul that healthcare system. The pharmaceutical companies, all of them.
Yeah.
Because ain't no way in the world. Ain't no way in the world a dog can be taking the same medication as humans, and their medication's cheaper, and our medications is costing $200, $300, $400.
That's crazy.
So
that's crazy.
If he want to do something for me, that he can do that. All right, y'all. Look, passengers react on a Southwest flight when the pilot gets arrested for a DUI on a plane at Savannah Hilton Head International Airport, Georgia. What's going on with you, Carrington? What's happening in your state, sir? These pilots are saying they stressed out. Let me see if we can play the story. We gotta look at 1,000 commercials.
Tonight, passengers are responding after a Southwest Airlines pilot was removed from the cockpit of a plane and charged with DUI. It happened this morning at the Savannah Hilton Head International Airport. The pilot, David Paul Alsop, was taken off the plane, charged with DUI, and booked into the Chatham County Jail. WTOC's Lindsay Singer is joining us from the newsroom this evening. And how are people reacting to this arrest?
Shelby, people who witnessed it all go down tell me that up until the point where police continued to enter the plane, everything seemed normal. They were on time, everyone was seated, and seemed ready to take off, but their travel plans quickly changed. A close call. That's what passengers of Flight 3772 are calling the Wednesday morning incident.
And it felt like a normal was starting to move, and then all of a sudden it just stopped.
Robert Newmarch says he was heading to his layover in Chicago from the Savannah airport. He says his flight was supposed to take off just after 6 a.m. However, that did not happen.
So they saw a cop walk in, and he went into the cockpit. He walked back out of the plane, came back a couple minutes later, and the pilot left with him.
The pilot, David Ossoff, was booked into the Chatham County Jail and charged with a DUI. His bail was set for $3,500.
Without my shoes coming off, how is a pilot getting through anywhere with any type of alcohol in his system whatsoever?
According to the Federal Aviation Administration, regulations prohibit pilots from using alcohol while on duty or flying or attempting to fly an aircraft within 8 hours of consuming alcohol, or if their blood alcohol concentration of 0.04 or greater. Southwest responded to the situation, saying they are aware and the employee has been removed from duty. Southwest also says all guests were accommodated with other flights. But Newmarch says he completely canceled his trip and says if he wasn't nervous about flying before, he is now.
To see that and know that that's why I did not fly to Midway this morning, it definitely it left a little odd feeling in my stomach.
That plane did eventually take off around 10 a.m. and landed in Chicago safely. For Now Live in the newsroom, Lindsay Stenger, WTOC News.
Join Planet Fitness and save $28 or more. Just $1 down, $15
Go
a
ahead.
month. Deal ends Jan-
What you thinking?
Southwest. I don't know.
Don't do Southwest now.
I don't know. I don't know. I think you know what? I don't think this is uncommon though. They might call the Southwest guy or pilot, but maybe that's a normal thing that they do.
Good morning, Selma from New York. I hope you are warm because I know it's freezing there. Listen, what do they call this? Do they call this a FUI? Is this flying while you're under the influence?
Yeah,
I mean,
probably won't. He'll lose his license.
Do you get docked on your points?
He
do
might
you get
lose
suspended?
his license. Yeah.
Do you get suspended? I don't think he's going. I think he's going to be flying. This was like last week, so I think he's already flying again. If you ask me,
you think?
Oh yeah, definitely. You know why? Because there's a shortage of pilots.
Oh, there's a shortage of pilots. Yeah,
and the industry is already jacked up with the flight situation. You know, whenever you go fly now, you don't know if you're going to be leaving on time because of that. Because they have certain hours that they have to rest too. So, they can't just be flying all the time or all night, or, they have rest hours, just like a truck driver, that they have to be off. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. And I think he was flying again, probably this week, because Wyoming guy said they're going to get a breathalyzer in the cockpit.
Right. You know how they did. No, they do DUI. They attach the breathalyzer to the steering wheel,
but
and they won't lock it.
They're gonna have to bring, because it's like a kit that you have to bring with you. You bring with you. So he got like a bag, and they're like, "What's that?" He's like, "Yeah, I gotta blow on this so the plane will start." What? I'm getting off immediately, even if I'm the co-pilot.
His co-pilot blowing this for me. So we take off.
Could be. You don't never know. So I don't know. I feel like for me, this is going to start to become more common again. I don't know if you guys remember that this, during COVID, when they really started limiting flights and only letting so many people, on a flight or whatever, that this was happening a lot. This was happening a lot because I guess, people were dealing with a lot of things. I think pilots actually need to be mandated to be off for let's
certain
say
amount of time.
like they work a week and then they're off a week. They
Yeah.
work a week and then they're off a week because like the stresses that you go
Yeah,
through as a
stress.
pilot have to be huge, you know, as far as getting people to their destination safely, because you don't never know what's going to happen when you get on that plane and you don't do the maintenance on it, right? So you could check everything in pre-flight and it's fine.
Mhm.
But once you get in the air, something
Something might
happens,
happen. Yeah.
you know, and for me, you got what 243 or 250 people on the plane you're responsible for.
Mhm.
You know, that is stress. Okay. That is
Yeah.
stress. And so I think a lot of these pilots, you know, sometimes are sitting in these lounges waiting, you know, for these planes or whatever, and they drink. Now it says their limit is 0.04. But I feel like they get in these lounges and the people at the bars are like,
And
"It's a
they probably
pilot."
know them and
Right?
frequent
It's a
them.
pilot,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
we just gonna serve them or whatever. So,
Yeah.
um, it said Jim C said 96,000 pilots in the US. There's bound to be some medicated. Okay, I'm just telling you.
Yeah.
Pilot left because of the job those left the drunk frat
Frat
boys. Oh,
boys. Yeah.
well, listen, I'm just
So
nervous.
they had
I'm a
COVID vaccination mandates on pilots. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
That's
because
crazy.
because they're in tight quarters with other people, you know, with the co-pilot, you know, and at that time, you know, that's how you caught it, you know. So, but anyhow, yeah, I thought that was interesting. And don't do Southwest because that could have been anybody. And I feel like this happens more than they report.
That's what I was getting at.
I
Yeah.
feel
I
like
think
they
it's a frequent
pick on
thing
Southwest because
because
Southwest is a economical
a low budget.
uh now don't do them. Now I ain't gonna say they low budget, but at least they ain't Spirit and they ain't got duct tape on their seats.
You know, Spirit going out of business.
That what I heard, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I think somebody gonna swoop in and save them
And
at the
Blue
last
Jet,
minute.
Spirit and Blue. I think they owned by the same people,
I
but
think somebody gonna swoop in and save them at the last minute, even if it be an
maybe
African
Southwest
person.
Airlines could say.
Not, not, not. Anyway, you was talking about the turkey leg hut lady uh one day, and
Okay.
we, you know, we're talking about the money that she owed James Fortune. Well, she recently did an update, and this woman, it, you know, I'm gonna say this, she just screamed scammer to me, right? I don't know why, but she did. And when they came out with the turkey leg cut, and it was so, I always get worried for trends, right?
Okay.
So the turkey leg cut to me was like this big explosion, and it's called the turkey leg hut, right? So what do you expect? You expect it to serve turkey legs,
Turkey legs, yeah.
right? And
Mhm.
so I feel like places like that don't last long because people gonna get tired. It's like a gimmick, you know? I feel like when people base their businesses in gimmicks, it's very hard to sustain yourself
Okay.
because then you have one set thing that you're supposed to serve, that you serve, right?
Right.
Not all the time people gonna be in the mood for that. You know,
Right. I mean,
if everything
you
else isn't on point on the menu, you know, you've worked so hard on perfecting this turkey leg that you've neglected the other things on your menu, and your other menu don't hold up to this turkey leg. I think you're gonna have problems. But she, their marriage, it was a married couple, right?
I thought she was like married to like I don't know if they was
Yeah,
trying to get into church or something
it
or
was a married couple,
yeah.
but for me, like you know, even okay, let's say I was married and I started a business with my husband. Man, he would not know me at that negotiation table. I would be like, "Oh no, at this table, you're not my husband. I'm here for my best interest and my best interest alone."
Well, it's
This
supposed
is
to
what's
be
gonna
our
happen.
best in our best
Nah,
interest when you're
no,
married is
nah,
we, not
no,
my.
no, not in business.
Yeah,
When we
in
in a
business,
marriage,
yeah.
no.
In
When we in a
marriage.
no. When we in a marriage, yes. When we doing a business, no. We not bring. If we doing a business together, we're not bringing that we married and family stuff. Because this is what happened, right? Her husband had access to the money, and he took all of the money,
Well,
and she couldn't even pay the workers.
well
So
that
for
that's
me,
that's just her, getting in business because with a person that is not necessarily or a scammer. Her
CEO
husband is
Tammy, thank you. She ruined her whole business partnering with her unprofessional husband.
well, like I said, that's nothing to do with
Exactly.
if you partner. That's
Exactly.
her decision. What I'm saying is, like, I own a business. My husband is not a partner in my business. But if she decided to partner with her husband, that's on her too.
Yeah, but what I'm telling you, I don't think there's anything wrong with partnering with your spouse, right? Especially if let's say he had the idea but she had the business sense, right? What I'm saying is when we go to the negotiation table and we set up this business, everybody is going to be compensated accordingly. And we're also going to discuss, like a prenup, we also going to discuss at that time if the business dissolves, if we can't come to an arbitration agreement about what should be done in some sort of business dispute and you threaten to leave, there should also be set forth how this business is going to be split and
Are
who,
we talking
gets
about
what.
are we talking about going you're talking about specifically going in business with your husband?
Yes, definitely.
I just I mean that I think that's fundamentally
It makes me no
flawed.
difference because it makes me no difference because divorce exists. Divorce exists,
So
and
you're
when
saying
people
you're willing to divorce your husband because he didn't have as much business sense as you. I'm not saying
no,
her situation. Her
yeah, no,
situation, he was a scammer or whatever the
I
case was.
listen, I don't know what the situation was, but if she had properly done business, right? If the business was properly done, you're not my husband in this. We doing a business. We're doing a business. You should never bring family or personal stuff into business. You need to keep the business the business.
I still don't necessarily agree with that whole,
You don't have to
take.
agree because there are all types of businesses that couples have started that are now closed or dissolved, and the wife is left with the bills. Or look at this. This is the husband took all the money, couldn't even pay the workers, so then she had to go and take loans from other people for something he did. That's why I'm saying you need to keep business business. If we're doing business, we are doing business. And it doesn't matter if I'm married to you. Let's say you was my sister. We're going to keep business business.
Well, marriage, like in court, okay. So when you go through a divorce, you accumulated debt in a marriage, whether it be a business or whatever the case may be. When you go through a divorce in your divorce settlement or decree, it would say, hey, you accumulated this debt together, so this debt is split 50-50.
But what if you didn't accumulate the debt? What if your
It
spouse
doesn't
started
matter.
a
It
business?
doesn't matter.
That's why I'm saying you need
It's
to
all
keep the
50,
business to
50,
business, because
fifty.
I'm not gonna pay for your mistakes and your debt. I'm not doing that. We're not doing that. No, because you did that. You did that. I'm not doing that.
That's why maybe I think that differently,
Well,
because I
yeah.
think when you're in the marriage, you do stuff for us, not, oh, I'm doing so. Even when I start a business, I'm still doing stuff
I got a
for a
question.
family,
I got a
you know.
question.
So
Even if we are in a business, We have set the business up properly. It's divided properly. Everything's been signed on the dotted line. That don't stop me from taking care of us. That don't
See,
stop me from doing it.
when you go in a joint venture, as you know, your joint venture is not necessarily between you and your husband. Oh, we go on a joint venture. You know, that's filed on the paperwork, but it's really, if you bring somebody else in, the joint venture is between, like, say for your sister, and the joint venture between you and your husband, because they think of you as a one party. That's just how, you know, joint ventures work. Now, if we saying, oh, I'm going in as a 25% partner. It all depends. Oh, I'm 25%, you 75%. But y'all file the taxes on the same taxes. That doesn't make any sense. It's not a joint venture. Y'all
I don't
just
see why. So what you're basically saying is there is no integrity. Like,
no, there's
you
no separate. The law is not separating you two. You acquired this debt, however the way it was, or how whatever the
that is
situation.
that's
You
why
guys
I'm
were married. You acquired this debt together,
yeah.
so you
That's
gotta
why I'm
absolve the debt
having
together.
that's why I'm having proper business set up properly. CEO Tammy says she didn't start the business on her own, and she added him after he got out of prison. That's when all of her problems began. Okay, exactly, CEO Tammy. But see, if you listening to Shawan, then he should have been added because they're
No,
married.
my husband is not on none of my businesses. That's not
But you're
what I'm
telling
saying.
me if you
She decided to add him to the business like he was a partner. So therefore, any debt that was accumulated while he was a partner, they had to split that debt 50-50%. That's
so
how it works.
Tyrone, the best business venture is yourself, and that's what I'm saying. If we're not setting up the business correctly, I ain't doing it. I'm just gonna do me, right? Because people is a risk. People get divorced,
This
and
this tells a lot by
even
her.
if you even if you get divorced, you telling me the same thing gonna apply. This debt was accumulated while you was married, even though it was your business and not his business.
Exactly. That's
Right.
basically what they were
So
saying.
exactly,
That's what they were exactly.
why I'm gonna have business set up correctly. And I'm just like, for me, I'm just not gonna, let that person take on some debt that I did without them. But anywho, that was her first mistake. But there was an update to she did a interview with Essence magazine right after you asked, was there an update? I think it was like 3 days later this was released. And it says she finally breaks her silence on how her
Her
marriage
marriage.
ruined her business. See,
This lady has bad decision making skills.
let me see what I'm gonna try to see. I can't remember. This was like last week, so I'm trying to remember what were some of the questions that they asked her. Yeah, less than a year later, in April 2016, they opened up the brick and mortar. Hold on, let me go back.
Mm.
Okay, so this is what I'm talking about right here. So she had the idea. The idea came from a dream Holmes had. In it, she was running an operation of barbecue trucks serving savory turkey legs. While at her son's football games, she'd always noticed the throngs of people flanking the food stands and thought, I'm going to recreate that, but better. After bringing the idea to her husband, they pooled money together from their full-time jobs to organize their first turkey leg stand in a large parking lot behind a popular restaurant. It was during 2016 rodeo season, which is typically 28 days long, so the foot traffic would be constant. It was an instant hit. Unsurprisingly, since Holmes took the beloved food fair and added her own spin, sausage on a stick, gourmet boudin, tender turkey legs stuffed with mouth-watering seasonings, and sauteed vegetables. It wasn't long before Holmes realized she had to quit her role as a junior project manager at a litigation firm to handle the operations of the burgeoning business. Less than a year later, in April 2016, they opened their brick and mortar location, a small but homey restaurant in the town where it all started, the Third Ward. And this is the Third Ward in Texas, Houston, Texas, I believe. Because of Price's larger than life personality, both in person and on social media, the word got out around town and scores of people flocked to the location to enjoy the turkey leg themed dishes. Then the turning point was we had the restaurant for 6 months, and then things slowly started to come crashing down. Holmes told Essence. This is the first time she's spoken out publicly about the restaurant's origins and eventual closure in 2024. Let's see. It says December 31st, 2016, Price went to federal prison. So they actually started the business before he went to prison. Okay. For his role in an IRS fraud scheme. That's first red flag right there. He was sentenced to 48 months. This was mere months before the then couple was set to open their first brick and mortar location, the Turkey Leg Hut. So she basically had been running this thing all while he was in prison. She had an idea any of those was coming. She had no idea any of this was coming. What he was incarcerated for was something that happened prior to me even knowing him. She said, it hit me like a ton of bricks. Wow. While Price was away, Holmes said she took on leadership role of the restaurant. She then said it was just a lot going on with that particular owner and all of that, and I shut it down. So she needed help. She didn't have any, so she shut it down because of that. And
what that got to do with him?
Well, if your partner goes to jail and y'all starting a business, it got everything to do with him.
But I thought he stole
share.
money. I thought he stole money from her.
No, this was after he got out. So that was when he got out. Then he took money, and she didn't know he was taking money, out of the bank, and they said he was taking it out of the register. In a couple of stories that I read. By 2021, at any given moment, the Turkey Leg Hut was flooded with excited customers waiting to get their hands on the famous stuffed turkey legs. That right there part is talking about the dress code. It was all his idea, Holmes said, making it clear that all of the brand marketing and external communications was run by him at the time. The dress code, according to Price, was to reinforce the restaurant's family-friendly atmosphere.
Okay.
To me, like I said, in 2022 is when they started their legal woes. They were sued by the food distributor for $1.2 million for unpaid goods and services. According to Holmes, this stemmed from Price's explosive temper. Wow. Yeah. Ooh.
But what the temper got to do with paying the bills?
I mean, I'm just saying.
I don't see the connection.
like I said, I think it was because he just destroyed relationships with the vendors. You know what I'm saying? Because
maybe because he was arguing about the price.
Because he
like,
was
why am I paying $20 a pound for some turkey?
Well, once people are incarcerated, they come out different. And so he was probably a lot more aggressive, once he came out, because they claim that's a place that's supposed to be rehabilitating people, but not at all, if you ask me.
So the guy got locked up for IRS fraud. That he did this stuff prior to meeting her. They ended up getting married, and this fraud came about.
The case came after they got, married.
Okay, and then at the time, since she didn't have no help in the business, that's when the business started suffering. It was too much for her.
Yeah, I think it was just a lot for her to handle. For me, I feel like when they first started, I feel like with the stand, maybe everybody was carrying their weight. So, he was directing the things that he needed to direct, and she was just only handling the things that she was responsible for, which is how a partnership business joint venture should be run. You know, if you, Shawan, are over marketing and advertising and all of that, you know, stuff, and I'm over the operations and the people and how that go, then, and we both working our lanes, business running smooth. But the minute, you know, let's say I get sick and I can't perform my duties or all of my duties, and you have to start stepping in, you know, you got your own, you know, list of things too. Now you got your list and you got my list, you know. So yeah, that can be overwhelming. I feel like for some people. And I think that was the portion that she wasn't ready. Now for me, I feel like if I'm going in a joint venture with someone, we both should know how to do each other's jobs and be capable, you know, and talk about these things because things happen, right? You might have a family emergency and have to step away and take care of your mom or your dad or your husband, you know, or your children, right? So we should be briefing each other on if an emergency happens, these are the most critical things that run my side of the business, right? And then you have people in place. You should have good leaders under you that can handle certain other things, right? So I should be able to tell you, hey, Shawan, call Joseph for this. You handle this, but let Joseph do this because he's great at that, and just have him brief you. You see what I'm saying? I feel like they didn't have those processes in place.
Well, you know, I'm not gonna knock her. She, you know, it's probably her first business venture. A lot of businesses fail. And having a restaurant, that's just a hard business in general. They fail a lot. So on top of, you know, some bad money decisions probably by her husband, and, you know, so, you know, that's, you know, I think what she's doing right now, maybe she's trying to blame solely on him, but, you know, she had her hand in it too, so we can't just say it was just all his fault.
Well, these next two stories we're gonna run through these last ones, maybe, hopefully. A United plane hits coyote during takeoff at Chicago O'Hare Airport. The FAA was investigating. Not a couple of weeks later, so not even a couple of weeks, 2 days. So that was January 14th, the first one. The second one was January 16th. A video shows live coyote being pulled from Chicago Aldi refrigerator on the west side. Look
Where
at
are they
this.
coming from?
Okay, look at this. Hold on. I hope this
Check
is the
engine light
video.
comes on tomorrow. The repair could
Share this
easily
tab.
cost thousands.
Is that transmission?
But with Endurance,
Hold
you
on,
could
it's the
never
bottom
pay out
one.
of
Let me
pocket
see if
for a
it's
costly repair.
It's a big
Shut up.
echo.
Is it this one? Child, I hate these things so bad.
Oh, look at that
Look at it.
coyote.
Oh, nothing. Bite
so-
your head off. I'm trying to figure out. Okay, let's see if this is it. Yeah, there you
Counter
go.
at a Humboldt Park Aldi. Video shows Chicago police officers pulling a coyote out of a produce cooler.
Tonight, our Marissa Sulik talked to wildlife experts about what happened and what we should all remember this time of year. Marissa?
Well, Joe and Eric, I spoke with the Chicago Animal Care and Control, and they tell me that January through March is mating season for coyotes. So they're more active and territorial. But this is not the first time Chicago stores or restaurants have seen a surprise like this.
It was a wild encounter this morning at the Aldi store on Kedzie, when two Chicago police officers armed with brooms and their own two hands pulled this coyote by the tail out of the produce section.
It was quite a surprise.
Liza Lair saw the video circulating on social media, but since she is the assistant director of the Urban Wildlife Institute at Lincoln Park Zoo, she says it's not a total surprise.
The colder temperatures, we don't see human activity really as much, out in our parks and in our natural areas. And so that's kind of the time where a lot of different wildlife might be a little bit more active.
This isn't the first time a coyote went into a Chicago establishment. Back in 2007, this coyote crept into a Quiznos in the Loop during peak lunchtime.
I jumped on top of the counter.
That coyote was captured by animal control and released to the wild the next day. In 2020, there were multiple coyote sightings from downtown along the Mag Mile to Lincoln Park, where a young boy was attacked. In 2023, over 1,000 coyote complaints were made to Chicago Animal Care and Control, and nearly 1,400 were made in 2024.
These animals are doing everything they can to stay away from us.
Chris Anker with the Forest Preserve of Cook County says this coyote in Aldi did not want food. They were probably walking down the sidewalk, trying to avoid people when the door opened. For the next 3 months, Anker says they are focused on finding a mate during breeding season.
Right now, they're very active in setting up territories and defending them.
As for the Aldi coyote, they are heading to Flint Creek Wildlife Rehabilitation in South Barrington. That's where they will be assessed before they are sent off into the wild. A far cry from the aisles of any Chicago area supermarket.
Now, Animal Control says that the coyote was uninjured. They also suggest that you keep your pets on a leash and you do not feed them. Also, if you do encounter one, make sure you make yourself big and yell, never run. We're live in the control room tonight. Marissa Sulik, CBS News.
Now, listen, let's go. Let's look at the one from the 14th. That was the 16th.
That hit a coyote at O'Hare Airport. This is audio coming up from the cockpit of a United Airlines jet as it was taking off on Sunday, heading to Phoenix. On the runway, a coyote.
During the rotation, we hit a pretty big animal, and we're suspecting the causing of damage to the nose and landing gear.
Wow, that plane was able to turn around and land safely. No one on board was hurt, and passengers later took another plane to Phoenix.
Child. Okay, we got drunk pilots. We got coyotes. We got Wiley. Look, someone said we got Wiley coyote out there. Super producer, what's the deal with the coyotes? Listen, let me tell y'all something about Chicago that you guys might not know. This is a very busy place. I would say it's like a mini New York, right? So it means that there's lots of people right out here, right? Imagine that crossed with your PETA people, right? So guess what they got in the middle of these populated cities? Forest preserves. Ain't the animals' fault, because they got forest preserves in the middle of these busy streets. So just imagine all around these forest preserves is buildings, residential areas, apartments, city buildings. Just imagine they get to the outskirts of this forest preserve because of these PETA people, right?
You said PETA people.
Okay. They get to the outskirts and they ain't never been to the outskirts before, and they come out and they like, I thought I was in the forest.
That's crazy.
And so they just, for them to say that these things are not looking for food is a lie. A stone cold lie, because if they're in these little forest preserves, right, and there's a lot of them in there, food is at a minimum. It's at a premium.
Scarce. Yeah, they scarce.
So you a whole lot. That coyote was probably in there trying to get some produce and trying to eat it, and they bothering him. Cause baby, listen, the way I would have minded my business, take me out of the group chat. I would be like, Coyote, you got it. I got
a question for the group chat. You know how he scurried into the meat section or whatever he was going. Did they take that meat out and not sell that meat? That's all I
know they did. And you know
the
they did.
meat is contaminated now.
Okay.
He got his holes poked in.
He done licked it. He probably done licked it and everything.
Like, come on now.
And they ain't even worried about that. They ain't
Right. About you ain't worried about contamination.
They ain't even worried about that. But it's, out here where I live at, so not only do we have to deal with coyotes, but also foxes.
Oh yeah, foxes.
Raccoons.
We had a fox in our yard.
Matter of fact, one summer I had a big old skunk walk across the front of my yard.
Oh my God.
This summer, that's why this summer, everything getting chopped down. This whole yard getting towed up. Do you hear me? Okay? Because I live in a residential neighborhood, but there's a forest preserve not too far from here. And the animals their territory is becoming smaller and smaller.
Yeah, because they building all this new houses
And
stuff.
for what? I don't understand it. It's houses that people can't even afford.
Exactly.
I don't even understand it.
Exactly.
Okay. Is a coyote or someone in a coyote suit? I know, right? Y'all seen all these bears? These humans been getting these bears.
Right.
Foolish. Totally foolish. Totally foolish. Okay, next story. I'm gonna skip a story.
Okay.
And we're gonna go to this one.
In charge of making decisions on your behalf, but usually because the
Hold on. Okay. And so what you're hearing is because the Breakfast Club is so out of order, anytime you use their footage, you get a copyright strike. You know, super producer gonna find a workaround. So I stripped the audio of Wendy Williams on the Breakfast Club and put Wendy Williams' picture up, and you're hearing the interview of Wendy Williams with Charlamagne the God and that dumb on the Breakfast Club.
Charlamagne the God.
Charlamagne the God and what's that man?
Envy.
DJ Envy.
Okay.
in charge of making decisions on your behalf, but usually because the conservatee is not able to make decisions for themselves. Wendy can make her own decisions. She is not cognitively impaired. She is not incapacitated. She is being taken advantage of.
Right.
Wendy, tell us what's going on.
First of all, to start with, my niece Alex knows a lot as well, you know, but I am not cognitively impaired. You know what I'm saying? No, but I feel like I am in prison. You understand what I'm saying? I'm in New York City, right? And Alex, you know exactly what you're talking about. You flew from Miami to New York and you were right here with me. Go ahead.
She's there in New York, in this place, essentially like what some would call a luxury prison. This is her room. That's literally her apartment. But the thing about this apartment, and you know this, not Wendy, because you're there, it's small. She has a bed, a chair, a TV, a bathroom, and she's looking out one window.
And excuse me, through my money, you know, I had this person buy the TV, you know, the kind of TV I like, through this person, because all of my stuff is in storage. You understand what I'm saying? Everything's in storage. And by the way, that was to sell my apartment. But anyway.
Is the person your guardian? Is that who you're referring to, your guardian?
Yes.
Well, you know, Sabrina Morrissey is her name. A&E Network and Lifetime were sued by Sabrina. She claims they exploited you in a vulnerable state. They exploited your condition, and I'm putting condition in air quotes. You signed to do that documentary without your consent, but A&E and Lifetime countersued and said that Sabrina realized the documentary would question the quality of her own guardianship. It actually says in the lawsuit, it appears that Morrissey is misusing her position as a guardian of Williams to silence criticism of her controversial and failed administration of the guardianship. They even used the words guardianship abuse. What do you think of that?
Me and the person that you were just talking about, this guardian person, we watched that 4-part thing on TV together. She was the one who wanted to do that. So I'm watching and writing things down, and she's watching and writing things down. And I saw her. I saw all of that, by the way. And what do I think about being abused? Look, this system is broken. This system that I'm in, you know, this system, it has falsified, a lot. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
They said you're cognitively impaired and you're incapacitated.
Do I seem that way?
You've been calling me 5 times a day for the last 2 weeks. No, you don't seem that way.
I just want to underscore what you were saying, Charlene, as well. And that is, this is still a legal situation. So yes, there are things that my aunt just can't talk about.
Yeah.
There are things that we as a family can't talk about,
That's right.
you know? But I think that the thing that we can talk about is the fact that my aunt sounds great.
Yes.
I've seen her in a very limited capacity, but I've seen her. We're talking to her. This does not match an incapacitated person.
Not at
and
all.
she that's why we say she's in like a luxury prison.
Yes.
Because she is being held and she is being punished. All I'm saying is just treat the woman with dignity.
Absolutely.
Okay. What you thinking about?
You know, it's unfortunate Wendy Williams is going through that, and she doesn't seem cognitive impaired. I hear that Sabrina Morrissey and I guess people could just do this in the state of New York. People could just take over your estate as long as they have the connection and claim that one, and they probably don't even know you, out the blue, a person is cognitive impaired. And I think she mentioned this in the interview, Wendy Williams and her niece. They were saying that they prey on a person that has either one child or no child with a lot of money. It's an ongoing thing that they're doing in New York. And the system is flawed. So I feel sorry for her.
They had to start a GoFundMe for her. Guardianship is the biggest scam ever. I see patients who are capable being forced into decisions when they are
Are
vulnerable.
very
That part.
vulnerable. Yeah.
That's how they get there. So when she got sick, that's when all of this
Yeah,
happened.
this is when it's happened.
And to me, I feel like the hospitals help in that.
Yeah,
Because when the
it's the
person gets
hospitals.
sick, they'll have somebody come in and say, do you have somebody to make decisions for you
Yeah,
if you're not
medical power
able
of
to?
attorney. Yeah. Yeah.
And most of the time, I even tell my mom to say no. I mean, tell my mom to say, no, I don't have anybody.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? I'm still going to be there advocating, but say no, because then, that's when all of the hospital, they help in those things,
Mhm.
and, it's just, unfortunate. It's unfortunate that she made all this money and now she's having to start a GoFundMe. I'm going to just show you. This going to be our last topic. We out of here. It says that she had to start a GoFundMe. And I'm a bit confused about
My niece Alex knows a lot as well, but I am not cognitively impaired. You know what I'm saying? No, but I feel like I am in prison. You understand what I'm saying?
Wendy Williams called into the Breakfast Club pleading for her freedom. The former talk show host and her niece, Alex Finney, told listeners that she's trapped in a facility in New York with elderly patients and without access to her phone or laptop while under a guardianship.
She's there in New York, in this place, essentially like.
And who is the guardianship? Because the niece, and see, this is the thing that the niece that was talking, she seems like not a part of that. You know what I'm saying?
That's
so
what
who is the guardianship through?
It's
I
a
think that's
random.
where
I'm telling you,
my confusion comes in.
This is what they do in the state of New York. It's a random person. Hey, Wendy will say, for instance, super producer. She's on, in the hospital. They said, she is suffering some type of illness. She only has one child. She has a lot of money. So I'm going to go to the courts and get a medical power of attorney and a conservatorship. That's what she's under, a conservatorship.
And so she don't have access to her money. So she have money, but she don't have access to it. That person have access to it?
The person handles, hey, super producer can't make any type of financial decisions because she's cognitively inclined. So I'm her conservatorship. I'm her conservator. And I deal with everything. I will take care of her, all her bills and business dealings. So that's why they were able to sell her condo. They put her stuff in storage. They basically, like she said, she's in the prison. But you have to have some type of judge in your pocket to agree to this. And
Yeah,
that's
so
what
I
they
feel
were
like
saying.
it's not even, at that point, it's the judge, it's the people being paid off, because ain't no way you
Well,
telling me.
During the
She said
interview,
Sabrina Morrison has conservatorship, but wasn't that the girl that was just talking?
no, that's Sabrina Morrison is a random white woman.
Wow, this is insane.
It has nothing to do with her niece.
If anything, I'm writing Trump and asking him to free her.
Trump, can
This
you
is insane.
sign
I'm
a
finna
pardon for Wendy
Yeah,
Williams?
I'm finna ask Trump, can he free her? Because this is you freeing all these. I mean, you doing all these other things. Free this lady. I don't know who you might know. Free this lady. I'm finna write him for that, because he not gonna do nothing else. He getting rid of all this stuff. He might as well help us with that. Wendy, if you're listening, go on and talk to Donald Trump. Everybody else is. Go ahead on, get in line. Get yourself free. Okay. But hey, that's our show for today. Super producer don't wish you nothing but blessings for your life. If you're not subscribed to Shawan Burns on YouTube or this show, which is the Unpopular Opinion 2.0, maybe, my show is All in the Queue. And you got a show today?
I do. I have a show. Today.
Listen, if you are All in the Queue member or if you are an All in the Queue subscriber, you want to tune in tonight. We're probably going to have a late show tonight. Tonight will be part 2 or my reaction to the WVON interview. And you want to tune in because I got a lot of stuff for you.
All right.
We're going to have a jam-packed show. And we're going to have a good time. And we're going to learn a little something. You're going to learn today.
You're going to learn today.
You're going to learn today. But you all have a good, safe weekend. And we'll see you on Monday. Lord knows what we're going to be having to deal with this weekend.
Oh, my goodness.
With all these things. And y'all, I'm going to say this again. Y'all be careful out here in these YouTube streets because y'all was burning them up the past couple of days here. And I just want you to be safe. Keep your emotions on 1, respect on a 10.
Amen.
Okay. Not amen. You know what? Let me turn this music on because you're going to be
Hallelujah.
Foolish. Yeah, you're going to be foolish. Y'all have...
Press the subscribe button. Yes, you. Press the subscribe button. Press the subscribe button. Yes, you. Press the subscribe button.